Okay, ladies and gents, welcome along to episode 4 of my Black Ops 4 Zombies Dark Ops Hidden Challenge series. This episode looks at a challenge called Sands of Time, and it's supposed to read, complete the main quest on 9 in under 100 minutes. Now it says 1 minute, but it's supposed to be 100 minutes. I'm not sure at the time of this video whether it will be patched or not. Now completing this particular Easter egg in 100 minutes is a tough ask for many casual players, so I tried to give you some tips to help you along the way. Now, the footage in the background is of our speedrun team completing the 9 Easter egg for the first time in a fairly average time. You'll see in the top right a timer, so you can compare your games to ours to see where you're losing time, if any. So match up the times when you open Pack-a-Punch, when you find the skull, when you've completed Purging the Blight, when you've completed the Ra, Symbol Step, etc. and write them down to make sure you're on track with some of our times. Now firstly we're going to start with the pre-game requirements. So I've listed some perks here. They're not totally required, but I think they're going to help you to try and match our times and to try and get this done in under 100 minutes. So Time Slip is a perk where you can use to hit the box faster during the fire cells. Stamina Up is obvious because there's a lots of running around on this map. And Electric Burst I put in as well because it keeps you alive doing a few of the steps where you're on your own, depending on whether you're playing solo, 2-player, 3-player or 4-player. Just as an added bonus here, I would suggest playing with 3 or 4 players because it's going to be the quickest time possible. There's more players to do a lot of the steps. Now in your class setups, you want to use a maxed out Strife with the knife attachments, so all the attachments, so you can knife on round 5 and 6. One person wants to keep their Welling starting pistols, or 2 of them, and Pack-a-Punch them for the boss fight and for the Purge the Blight step. You want to be using Wraithfire as your grenade, as it's the best equipment in the game, bar none. You want to be using the Scepter of Ra because that specialist helps a lot during the later steps if you max it out to level 3, so make sure you use your specialist wherever possible. In terms of elixirs, we're going to be using Temporal Gift for longer double points and fire cells. We're going to be using Noah Bit here to revive teammates, and Arsenal Accelerator to charge your special weapon faster. Okay, so now we move into the game itself, and there's 2 main tips for the early game. The first tip is to open Pack-a-Punch as fast as possible, so don't be training zombies in the beginning, maximising your points. Just go through the rounds, get to round 6 or 7, and then you want to start opening Pack-a-Punch. Make sure you've got your Pack-a-Punch pistols from your challenges. And the second tip for the early game is to get to round 10 as fast as possible. Now round 10 is the first round that a round gladiator can spawn. You need this gladiator to throw his axe at the pyres so that he cuts off the wood, so that you can actually place it in the cauldron room. You then need to go through a minimum of 8 rounds as fast as possible as you do the other steps of the Easter egg. I'm not going to explain them all here, so you can look at that video on my channel with a tutorial if you want. You want to get to the Purge the Blight step as fast as possible. So whilst you're doing this, through these 8 rounds, that's the time where you want to be hitting the box to look for monkeys, or homunculus. You want to try and get the Helium Salvo rocket launcher, and also you want to be acquiring a kilowatt and or fire bomb, the PAP effects for your later steps. Now the next tip is to know all the ball plaque locations before you play your game. There is a picture for the Ra symbol step in this video as well. Also, the electrical underground corkscrew locations are very important, and also the 3 shots from the Circuit's Kiss that you need. So make sure that the player with the Circuit's Kiss knows those 3 shots. Now after the Ra symbol step, the remaining Easter egg steps are pretty straightforward. If you need a tutorial, as I said, you can find one on my channel. Now for the boss fight, the rocket launcher max papped and the Welling starting pistols max papped are very useful. You want to kill all the preliminary enemies, the tigers, the brawlers and the gladiators as fast as possible, as this spawns the elephant. Once you've killed the first elephant, same goes again for the second elephant. You want to kill him as quick as possible. Use all your max ammos, don't just leave them laying there, there's no point. So really after that, there's not really much more I can tell you. I'm going to leave a link in the description to a speedrun team who managed to finish this in 47 minutes with 3 players. So go and watch that game, it's a really good run. Go subscribe to that channel as well. If there's any more questions, leave them in the comments section or hit me up on Twitter. Good luck with your runs guys, and I'll see you in the next video.